archives, I think. I think we should go to Duke's archives. Why is he wearing no armor? You don't need to wear armor to avoid getting hit by Priscilla. All you have to do is dodge. Forehead. Just in general, you don't really need armor in this game. Like, I don't think the armor... I don't think it's relevant. In fact, I'll go even a step further. I think it holds you back. There's very strange comments in chat. I was really glad to see my rant about being horny is not a substitute for a personality. I was glad to see that get some traction. There are many kindred spirits like me out there who I guess we just stay quiet most of the time whenever there's horniness. But now that somebody has signed up to be a champion of non-horniness, everybody's getting in line. Our numbers are swelling. Wary Dromedary, thank you for the gifted subscriptions, by the way. I think you just don't understand. Like, right now, like, I'm at my office, and you're my customers. And you're walking into my office and being like, boy, I'm freaking horny today. And I'm like, excuse me, sir, I'm trying to work. I don't know, you go into other people's offices. Stop it! I can do this. I can't do this. I thought I could just beat him with the roll and get it out, but that did not work. You go into other chats and you're like, I'm horny. And they're like, I don't care what you do as long as you subscribe. And I'm like, I care what you do. That being said, I hope you subscribe. What's great is that this guy used to be the Mimic. Now it's substantially harder. You missed. What are you laughing at? You think this is me playing PUBG? Moonlight Greatsword? Yo! We'll never use it, but that's a great get. And a second Pyromancy Flame. Any possibility of more Stone Shard or Curse of the Dead Gods on stream or on YouTube? Yes. I mean, Curse of the Dead Gods, 1000%. Because part of the activation, which is industry term for, you know, sponsored content, they replaced the pig with a dog, is doing a stream of that at some point closer to release as well. By the way, I'm pretty confident that the Curse of the Dead Gods video has, like, the best reaction from fans of any sponsored video I've ever seen. Certainly anyone that I've ever done. Normally, when you do a sponsored stream, you just kind of accept that, like, the like to dislike ratio is going to be underpogged, just because of the fact that people are like, you know, for whatever reason, and I'm not saying it's unacceptable, but they're, ooh, K Stroop, thank you for the cheer. But people are like, it's like fake content, you know, it's not, he wouldn't be playing it if he wasn't getting paid, so, you know, I'm not gonna give this, whoa! You know, I don't consider it like a real video, like it wasn't even supposed to be around in the area. Curse of the Dead Gods, people were like, screw that. This is legit. And it is legit. Ah! That's a tough room. That is a tough room. If anything, I was just embarrassed by the fact that I played kind of badly in it. But it's... all I can say is that that game is harder than it looks. And also, if you're used to Hades dodging, where you can press the button a millisecond before you get hit in the face, you're gonna eat it a little bit. So I got a game plan. Yeet the fireballs as soon as possible. But yeah, so thank you for that. So I did also see someone say, are we using pogged as an adjective now? Yes, that's the new... That's the flavor of the month, let's call it. Send it. Get out of here! I did think my magnum opus meme video is 100% making a Danslation, an English to Danglish dictionary. There's some really easy ones, like, you know, pog is, I mean, it's both, like, an adjective and a verb, right? Something can be pog, and then it can be modified to be, you know, mini pog or mega pog. It could be pogged or under pogged, and so on and so forth. But then, you can also be pogging. Like, dude, I was pogging yesterday, and then it turned into a sleeps, for example. Get out of here. No, 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 no. It's a purple bone wheel. All right, we've made it. What's the question mark? Target shield. What's the question mark for? You don't understand pogs? I was gonna say, I thought I heard a growl. Why are you using up all your good material? Because on Tuesday, I only record like 1 to 2 videos before I stream. So my material is irrelevant. I should use it all on stream. I don't have to save the good stuff for YouTube. For once. I still hear steppers. Whoa! Yo, it's one of the demons, dude. Not today. Dude, we have so many chunks. Don't you try it, mister. I will send you. Not today, Satan. What is that? It's from The Simpsons. I remember that. We did get Disney Plus. So Kate could watch Aladdin. So I've been watching the occasional old Simpsons episode. But I haven't seen Not Today, Satan yet. I forgot what it's from. The Simpsons is like, it's got such a weird part of my memory totally on lock. Like when I'm watching an episode, I know what they're gonna say at all times. Because I've seen the episode 50 times before when I was a kid, right? But if you say, hey, what's the episode where they say this? I couldn't tell you. Literally, I'm like, I don't remember at all. I know it all, but only as it's like streaming. It's definitely... Oh, dude, it is Canadian Ned Flanders, isn't it? Where he's like, do you wanna... do you wanna take a puff of my marijuana cigarette? Not today, Satan. The dragon tooth. They told me the devil would... That's it. They told me Satan would be attractive. Or they told me the devil would be handsome. Something like that. Harvey's gavel. Stop it. Fuck The Simpsons? I don't know. It's like it... Don't be a toxic dart shooter, please. Excuse me! I'm dead, dude. Where did you come from? There were so many of them. Homegrown Simpsons stuff. Simpsons is highly pogged. The Simpsons season, like, 2 to 11 is pogged outrageously. And then you just stop watching. You do the thing that our generation is incapable of doing now, which is when you don't like something, you just let it disappear instead of circle jerking about how awful it is forever while still watching it. Is maxing out your TFSA pogged? It's huge pog. It's not even big pog. That's a huge pog to max out your TFSA. The only larger pog is first establishing your emergency fund. After that, it's the biggest pog in the pog stable. Paying off your mortgage, that's a good point. That would be a pretty enormous pog. Hello. Dude, fast rolling is like, it's cheating. I would say that's one of the most pog ways to make money. The only other most pog way is to slip on ice outside of a chain restaurant and then sue them for all they're worth and never have to work a day again in your life. Hell yeah. The American dream. Oh, big scary skeleton man. Only in America? I don't know. They say that about, like, they say that about Canada as well. Like, or at least, like, my parents imbued, like, an incredible fear in me that you are responsible for everything that happens within, like, 1 meter of you for the rest of your life. I always thought, everyone always brings up the example of, like, if someone robs your house and they injured themselves on, like, you know, an exposed nail or something like that, they could sue you for, like, personal injury. I don't know if that's actually true, or if that's just something that's been email forwarded over and over and over, and it's become like a boomer myth. I feel like if you're trespassing on someone's property, that will not stand up in court. The one that always got me is like, you know, you can be sued or even charged for, like, criminal negligence if you hold a party and, oh, hello, Tomal. If you hold a party and somebody that went to your party drives drunk and, you know, injures somebody, you can be held, like, criminally responsible. I'm like, what are you supposed to do? You could be like, hey, don't drive drunk. And then they're like, ha ha ha, I'm not that drunk. You're like, no, but for real, like, don't drive drunk. And they're like, okay, good one, buddy. I'm gonna get in my car. What am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to go out and, like, slash their tires? I mean, it's never happened to me, but at some point, I'm like... It's like, I'm sorry, brother, I have to kill you so you don't murder somebody. I don't know how far it goes. Take their keys before the party. So, like, if you're in high school, sure. If I went to a party as a 31-year-old man, just kill me. And, they took my keys at the door, I would be like, I'm just going home. It's only happened to me once. It was actually the party where me and my friend got what I called Norwalk for 10 years, but was actually food poisoning, I believe. And at the start of the party, I gave everybody, or the door woman was like, I need to take your keys. And I was like, that's fine. I'm 18 years old. And then I got hammered. And I went to my friend's mom and was like, hey, you know, a bunch of us are feeling sick. Could you give us a ride home? And then I had to negotiate while I was drunk with the door woman to get my own keys back to be driven home. And I was furious the whole time. I was like, I'm not driving. And she's like, you gotta promise me that you're not going to drive. And I'm like, you have my property, and like you witness the, like I get you're getting off on having this responsibility or whatever, but like I need to go home. She was on like a weirdo power trip. She's right. She was there. I was like, I'm getting a ride home. She is not right at all. She didn't want you to drive drunk. Yeah, I don't want anybody to drive drunk. That doesn't give me a license to, like, keep someone's property from them when I'm like, hey, I'm getting a ride home from my friend's 55-year-old mom who is stone sober. How is she right in the situation? What are these guys this time? Excuse me? But what if you were lying? She didn't know? Yeah, what if anybody is lying at any given time? That's not really her responsibility. The real question is, why did she give me the keys then? I could have still been lying. Oh, but you denied it 4 times, which is... Nobody who was really lying would do that. They would have just given up. Some of you people live in a fantasy land. I say that impolitely, but with righteous anger behind it. I think you did drive? Oh, shit, dude. Anyway. Again... I think in like a high school situation, I don't know, to be honest with you, probably in the modern era, this is just a disaster. I can't even move. In the modern era, probably today's high school students are less likely to drive drunk than today's boomers. So maybe, if you're going to a party full of boomers, maybe take the keys. I feel like this also has not been pointed out. People are thinking that the door woman was actually like a person employed by an establishment. This party took place in my friend's basement. The person handling the keys was 15 years old, which was just even more infuriating for me. This was not a professional security person. I was like, I get it. Didn't all the PSAs you've ever watched is like... The people are driving drunk. I'm not driving drunk. I'm just trying to get home before I infect everybody with a contagious disease. But anyway, in 2020, no, if I went to a party and they were like, we need your keys, I don't know, it depends on the party. I might not leave right away, but I would leave, I would want to leave. Let's put it that way. It's locked. You don't remember her, her age because you were drunk? Well, yes, I was drunk, but I did not drive. Why were you getting drunk with 15-year-olds? I wasn't getting drunk with 15-year-olds. The 15-year-old was sober. They were there handling the key situation. I feel like it's all been laid out pretty clearly. Why were they there? Because I went to a high school with 80 people. Well, 80 people in my graduating class. So whenever there was like a party of any sort, If you had a sibling that was within like 2 to 3 years of your age, they would also just be there. And you'd be like, hey, just sit down and like watch TV for a bit or whatever. You can play some board games with us. Look, a party is when you have like-minded individuals who enjoy your company, and they invite you to something in order to share each other's laughter and conversation. Now that we've established that basic principle. Anything less than 100 is a get-together. I mean, I understand where you're coming from because we had this argument on the show. However, let me up, please. I think you have to build in a scaling factor based on the size of the region where something is taking place, which I believe we may have even touched upon when we talked about it on the show. Like Rob going to a gathering in New York City with 500 people. If 500 people got together for something in my hometown, it would be like an Elton John concert. It would be a once-in-a-lifetime event. I'm not supposed to turn this on. This makes the... Or sure got the thing that make the booty go smack. Oh no, I am supposed to turn it on. It opens the door? I don't remember. Isn't this where Big Hat Logan is? Or, oh no, that's the door. That's the door key, I should say. My class had 14 graduating students. That is crazy. I mean, like I said, I had 80. 80 is small. Like, Kate told me the high school she went to had, like, literally... Like, she blew my mind. I had to ask her a clarifying question. Because she was like, I think that guy went to my high school. And I was like, what do you mean, you think? It's like, you don't know literally every face that you went to high school with because you only went to high school with, like, 280 people? That's insane to me. I could probably still name at least 50% of my graduating class first and last name. It's not like my school was good and we had small classes. It was just in the middle of nowhere. So, like, there were no human beings. Do it? No. I know that I remember, because anytime I'm back in the Cataraqui Town Center, in sunny Kingston, Ontario, my brain starts running through the faces and is like, man, I hope I don't see any of these guys here. I'm not even supposed to be here. Come on. Etc., etc. I'm not really complaining. It wasn't like a bad way to grow up. I'm just saying. It would have been nice to go to a high school with more students just so we had more classes. But that's really like the only major negative, I think. You're not even a Silver Knight, dude. You're actually the Black Knight from Monty Python's Holy Grail. The Rust Knight. Were you all white? Yes. In my school of, I don't know, like 300-ish, there was occasionally one non-white student. Apart from that, I grew up surrounded exclusively by whiteness. No, they were not all straight. I grew up in a bubble, but it was a surprisingly progressive bubble. I will say. It's rural Ontario, okay? It wasn't as backwoods as it gets. Could be worse. We did all have free healthcare, though. We also, in 8th grade, I was in a combined 8th and 7th grade class. We had one exchange student from, I think he was from China. And it was like the craziest thing that had ever happened in my like middle school / elementary school, because it was the same building career. Everybody was like, holy shit, there's a Chinese person in our school. This is crazy. Why did he come to rural Ontario? I don't know, okay? Maybe someone in his family was involved in an industrial project. I honestly don't know. What was wider, your high school or Queens? Yo. My high school, by a factor of infinity. This is a long trip, brother. By a factor of undefined. We also had a Russian exchange student in our class of 50. It's surprising, man. It is. I don't know how it happens. But then Kate was telling me stories about, like, her dad. And I guess, like, when her dad was an engineer in Korea, like, he lived for 6 months in, like, the desert somewhere on the Arabian Peninsula for an engineering project. And I was like, well, I guess that's how it happens. You work for a company, and the company's like, hey, we're building, I don't know, like a mine or like a steam turbine in Pickering. So, you know, you gotta... You gotta put your kids somewhere, right? I don't know, I think, honestly... Ooh, I forgot about you, sir. Help me! Let me out of this cursed prison! You can run through them without getting hurt, huh? I think, like, if... I mean, obviously, as a kid, if you're, like, 8 years old and you only speak English, and, you know, your dad's like, hey, sport, great news, we're moving to rural Finland, you would probably be like, that sucks. But I think when you got older, you might be like, yo... Turns out, that was actually sick, you know? I got exposed to another culture when I was young. You know, I made friends internationally. Now I have dual citizenship, so the government will pay for me to get a university degree. I think if we land on that bookshelf, we probably would have been fine. Like, I know it sounds easy, but like, I don't know, like Kate moved here when she was like 9, I think. 8 or 9. And she's like, it sucked. Like, I didn't know how to speak English, so I was like way behind in all my classes. And, you know, the teacher would like ask me stuff and I would just go, you know, yes, no, but I didn't know what I was answering. And I'm like, yeah, that sucks, but now you can speak 2 languages. And all that suffering that you did in order to get to that point has been long forgotten and has only left deep scars instead of open wounds. That's true, she can speak 3 languages. Skirt. That's true, and she met Mouth. Best of both worlds. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not saying I would have wanted it for myself, but in hindsight, don't do the thing that you did last time. In hindsight, I'm like, yo, it's the easiest way to learn 2 languages, is just suffer as a child. Plus, I also think if you have, like if you had your child in the United States or something, and then you, like, move to Japan for, like, a year, you would never have a kid that's like, I only eat chicken nuggets. That child would have been forced to eat some vegetables at some point. I'm not saying they wouldn't be a picky eater, but they might be like, I only eat chicken tenders and pickled radish. You know, like, at least it's a step up, okay? No. I only eat yakitori? Well, you can pay for your own damn yakitori then. The easiest way to be good at anything is to suffer as a child? I agree, like 100%. I'm telling you. There are situations, obviously, like, you know, some kids go through some really messed up stuff. I'm not making light of that situation, but a lot of kids have it, like, way too easy. In my opinion, I had it way too easy. My parents gave me too much freedom, and because they grew up wanting, they were like, our kid's never going to experience that. I guarantee it. So they raised me. I don't think I should have been here. Don't think I should have done that. So they raised me where I never wanted for anything, which was awesome, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you know, I had too much free time, and I don't think, like, there's anything wrong with too much free time, except it took me longer than a lot of my friends and generational cohorts to, like, accept some degree of responsibility, if you know what I mean. Like, when I was a kid, I was like, man, it's fucking bullshit, dude. My mom's gonna make me vacuum. Not even, like, the house. Like, she's gonna make me vacuum my own room. That's fucked. Life's bullshit, dude. That's gonna cost me, like, 1 game of Halo 2. I did turn out alright, but I'm telling you, given the chance, if that's a direction we take our life in, kid's working his butt off. Like, Malf, you're here. How much homework did we have in high school nightly? It was like less than 90 minutes for sure. Some days were worse, I'll admit, but like is very little. That kid could work harder. 90 minutes nightly is a lot. It is not. Don't do the thing. Figure out what you do. It's not though. Like, I'm telling you, it's not though. Like, my nieces, like, they go to school, and they are working, those kids, in my opinion, too hard. But I also kind of admire it. You know, there's like, they go to school, and then they'll have, like, some kind of, like, extracurricular thing. Like, not sports. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but, like, you know, math academy or something. And then, following that, they will have their homework as well. It's not a private school, I think. It might be a private school. I don't know. I've never asked, to be honest. I've seen photos, and I can't tell if it's a private school or if that's just what schools look like in Washington, because the state is pretty nice. I went to high school, came home and played video games until I went to bed. You're gonna not like what I'm about to say, but I want to mention, we're kindred spirits. I did the same thing, but it's like an extraordinary waste of time. Like playing video games within reason, I think is absolutely okay. But like, If you got time to play like 6 hours of 2K a day, you could definitely like just also like have one more thing put onto your life. You know what I mean? Like you could learn something else that's very useful, if that makes sense. You made a career out of playing video games? No, it's almost the opposite. My video game playing holds me back. It's my incredible preternatural ability to just keep talking and entertain that has given me a chance in an industry dominated by 17-year-old wunderkinds winning esports tournaments. I am so blessed that the majority of my competition on this platform, for whatever reason, chooses to stay silent for 85% of their streams. If they ever open their mouths, I'm done, dude. I have no talent. I wasted my best years of talent growing playing 6 hours of All-Star Baseball 2000. And going, well, I worked hard today. I filled out a word search. Anyway, I'm just saying. That's what I'm like, dude. You might think that I'd be like, hey, you gotta like, you know, start playing video games early so you can win an esport event. I'm like, nah, screw that, dude. You are probably not gonna be as entertaining as I am. I'm sorry, it's just statistically unlikely. You should honestly just start working on those book smart skills. It can only benefit you. You gotta pull the ladder up behind you. So I thought you were talking about Souls, and I got really excited. Now I realize you're talking about opportunities. This is depressing me? I don't think it should depress you. I don't know. Like, honestly, you know there was that article like a couple of years ago about the tiger mom who was like, you know, let's be honest, like pretty mean to her kids. They would be like learning the piano, and if they played like a note wrong, she would be like, you don't get to eat dinner until you play it right. That's fucked. But also, I'm like, I gotta be honest, and I'm from the outside looking in, but I'm like, just a little bit of Tiger Mom energy, I think would go a long way in North America. Not starving your child because they don't play the piano perfectly, but rather like, hey, you could do like a little bit more homework. You know what I mean? That's not Tiger Mom energy. It feels like Tiger Mom energy. Extreme boomer take? I don't know, dude. I feel like it's not boomer energy. I feel like that's Zoomer energy, honestly. Like, Zoomers, trust me, I'm on TikTok more than I should be. Zoomers they've been born into the hustle economy. They already know, in all likelihood, they'll probably have to, you know, drive for Uber Eats for like 5 years to be able to afford rent in this, you know, fucked up urban hellscape. Where do we go? By the way. Up a level? Oh, the stairs go both ways. I'm being clear, by the way. I'm not trying to pivot. I just literally did not know where I was going. Because I hate the damn Duke's archives. I don't know. Honestly, all stairs go both ways. Holy shit, he's right. I think it's all based on, like, the way that you grew up, right? Like, I think my parents let me, and again, not a bad thing, and I turned out okay. But, ask Malf how clean my room was in university. There was room for improvement in my upbringing, is what I'm trying to say. But, you know, because I grew up so comfortably, I'm like, are you still? No, you're new. I'm like, my parents should have worked me a little bit harder. It's the wrong way. I could have definitely worked quite a lot harder, to be honest. And I think, you know, you might say, what's the benefit? Well, like, I feel like it would have given me a much stronger work ethic instead of having to discover that I actually have a strong work ethic by, like, making my job playing video games so it's easy to, you know, do the amount of work you're supposed to do. Instead, they gave you a happy childhood. That's, first off, this is a bad faith argument that I disrespect, and I want that to be known. But secondly, it was like, it was a happy childhood, for sure. But it wasn't happy because I had 6 hours of free time. You know, it was happy because I had, like, you know, food on the table and very supportive parents. The 6 hours of free time I had was, like, getting mad at, you know, somebody in Diablo 2 because they called me a nerd or something like that. Like, people are like, yo, time enjoyed is not time wasted. And I like to think back to this, like, playing these games where I was like, you know, I got beat in Counter-Strike and, like, my face turns beet red and I want to cry. Like, time enjoyed? I don't know. 50-50. Isn't there a chest over here? There is, and the chest is away. Permission to go home so my face isn't beet red from my family photo tonight. Teaches you how to control your emotions. When I look at somebody that plays 8 hours of online games every single day, the first thing I think is, I bet that's someone who knows how to control their emotions. I mean, I'm getting into this is real conversation here. From somebody who admittedly doesn't know what they're talking about. But to, like, you know, a bunch of other people who I think also don't totally know what they're talking about. So it's like the blind arguing with the blind. Now fall on the stairs. Okay. Like, I want to see the parents in chat give me their perspective. Because honestly, like, I don't know, it might also be, like, part of the city that I live in. But whenever I see, like, parents with young kids outside, they're always like, Gavin! You can't eat that! Okay, fine, go ahead. Like, it's just... Like, the kids are leading the parents. Classic Gavin. Look, if there's any Gavins in chat, it's okay. Alright? You didn't name yourself. Your parents set you up for being the subject of this bit. Oh no, dude. I just wanted to get close enough to target them. Did we hit something over here? We didn't even hit it yet. Oh my god. Alright, we got like 15 minutes left. We've accomplished nothing. Hey. You got 2 dukes? This one? Anyway, I don't know. I'm interested to hear what people say. Because I don't know. For me, I'm like, man, it's crazy that I'm like, kids could do like a little bit more homework. And people are like, oh, so you would support you support child abuse. And I'm like, well, honestly, I feel like there's a big gulf between, like, kids have more time to work a little harder, and I think it would benefit them in their adult life. But here's something we can all agree on. most of... Well, you gotta be... It's a little tricky with this one as well. But I'm gonna say it anyway. Homework is bullshit when the only reason you have homework is because of the fact that the teacher didn't give it during class and thus forced you to do it at home when you had enough time in class to do it if it had just been assigned. That I will offer literally 0% resistance towards. As a teacher, I don't give out homework. I think that makes you a popular teacher. I don't know, people are like, look, if you show me the study, then that's cool. I'll look at it. Genuinely, I'll look at it. But people are like, homework's a bad way to learn things. Maybe it is, but it's also like how I learned how to program. So I don't know. It's a hard argument for me to make because it worked fine for me. And I'm not everybody, but I can only speak to my own experience. Works on my machine. I always forget about that. I don't know. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna ask Dan about it. I'm interested to know Dan's opinion on it. He's gonna agree with you? Yeah, why do you think I want to ask him? Duh. Did you give homework? I did whatever the school told me to do. And yes, that included homework, I think, after like every lesson. You're just a mercenary. How did you grade tests? I don't know, that's too specific to be spun into a comedic bit, to be honest. What was your average lesson like? Oh, now you're bringing back bad memories. Ask everybody in the class how they are, and they will all say, "I'm fine, thank you," and you. I lived. While you ask them how they are, you write their name on the whiteboard. That way, if they misbehave, well, if they answer a question right, you like give them a point or 2 points if it's a really hard answer, and then if they misbehave, you take points away, and then you give out some kind of like, you know, meaningless trinket at the end to whoever has the most points that costs like literally 15 cents. And then it was like, the lesson was always like, today we're gonna talk about under, over, and beside. And then you would like, you know, show them a picture of like a book beside a desk, and you would just go like, the book is beside the desk. And you would just repeat that every day until you got a better option occupationally that allowed you to leave the country. He's done it. But it wasn't all bad, to be honest. Like, there were, like, you know, this is gonna sound rude, but, like, teaching young kids sucked really bad, because their English was really bad, and every lesson was basically just like, apple, and they'd be like, apple. And then when you gave them the test and you're like, what's this? They would write down like 10 question marks. And you're like, it's Apple! It's the only thing we cover for the past 3 weeks. APPLE, we all wrote it on the board together 70 times. Is Apple. But, you know, I've been learning Korean myself, and, you know, Kate will tell me, like, a word, and then I'll be like, I got it. And then she's like, what is it? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't remember at all. Crystal Ember. But, can we not hit this? There we go. I had some real, like, the best classes were classes with, like, kids who were a little bit older. And the classes were, like, one-on-one. And you could actually have a conversation with them. Yo, tell them when to go. 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 Dung, 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 dung. There's a chest up there as well. There is a chest up here. Then you could actually have like a conversation, and you could start, then you could get into the really fun part of the English language, which is they say something that should make sense given the grammatical rules of English, but you're like, no, it's not bide, it's bot. And they're like, why? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know. I grew up in an English-speaking country, and I watched enough media that it just got sucked into my brain and locked there. And even though there are rules in the English language, this one is one of the thousands of words that those rules do not apply to. I eat it? No, you fool. You absolute moron. It's I ate. Why? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. If anybody knew, they have been dead for centuries. But now everybody knows that if you say eated, you're just a dumb idiot who, whatever else came out of your mouth does not matter. It's 8. I actually, I taught like 1 month of a super, by our school standards, like a advanced class on idioms, and it was just great. One of my friends taught it for the 11 months that he was there, but then the month where he left but I was still there, I took over the class, and it was stuff like, you know, some of the idioms make sense. You're like, you know, don't put the cart before the horse, and then you just like draw the picture on the board and be like, will this go? And everyone's like, obviously not. Then some of the stuff, you're like, you know, just literally makes no sense at all. That's why I talk about idioms all the time in Isaac episodes, because like, even if they make grammatical sense, which is rare, they're oftentimes just wrong. Like, you know, if you take care of the pennies, the pounds take care of themselves. Just honestly, the worst financial advice I could possibly imagine. Don't worry about big stuff. Just focus on meaningless bullshit. I taught in Japan for a while, and this is bringing back memories. I think it's the same, you know. It's a dog-eat-dog world. A diamond dozen. Bone apple tea. I will say, I thought it was for all intensive purposes, probably until I was like 20. I mean, I knew what it meant, but I thought it was for all intensive purposes. Like, the purposes are so intensive. I thought it was, I arrest my case. I like that. I arrest my case. Not today. You laugh? You're shooting bolts of pure darkness at me and you're laughing? I got a little bit of an eye tick today. Because I was looking at this, like, stand that had brochures in it. And the stand, is this an enemy stand? Haha, I'll just make the joke. The stand had text on the top of it, and it said, not how are you, but how are you? Like HOW apostrophe REYOU question mark. And I went, can you do that? How are you? I feel like, look, B-Rex, if you're in the chat, I apologize, but I feel like that's a Newfoundland special. I feel like in text, you can only get away with that in Newfoundland and Labrador. In speech, you can say whatever you want. Yeah, yeet. But in text, I think that's exclusively confined to the Maritimes. Whoa. It's fine in the Midwest. Also known as the Maritimes of America. Use the carving!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, wrong carving.
Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me.
Do it. Do it! This room's gonna be a damn nightmare. Basic hollow, not that bad. Stop. See ya. I gotta know. Just drink twice. I gotta see the boss. I can kill Priscilla before Tutty. We made it to a boss. Priscilla, I summon you. Yo, that's just Seath? There's no way. I don't believe it. I believe that this is pre-rendered. It's freaking Artorias! Yet again! And there's no place for him to fall. No, I've killed 2 Artoriases. In any case, this is good practice. Because in the DLC of Dark Souls Remastered, I definitely just put on Havel's armor and pressed right bumper until he died. So, to get some practice fighting, really like Artorias' of scaling difficulty, has been very nice. Anyway, we got like 4 minutes until Tutty. I should probably pivot. I'm just gonna go back and see if there's any enemies back here that can drop things. I guess we have more than that much time. My clock is still off, yeah. Honestly though, I think having a clock that's fast is a competitive advantage. So we haven't dropped many frames, but we have dropped more than usual in like the past 4 minutes, I would say. Hopefully it does not continue. We can't have everybody be beset by terrible, crippling internet issues at the same time. It's not allowed. Oh, dude, I hope... Malf, are you here? I hope Justin didn't steal some of my internet to give you more internet. Hope he didn't steal some of my packets to give them to you. I'm a tax-paying citizen. Oh, what the fuck? I said frick. Dude, did you know there's a spot in the Crystal Caves where if you drop straight down, you can just drop all the way to the boss? It's right here. I honestly thought that would land on the